Welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. I'm very excited. Check out the new website, www.keithreza.com. Check that site out, baby. It's gonna get the hits. It's gonna look cool. It's gonna tell you tour dates. It's gonna tell you Reza Rifts podcast dates. It's gonna tell you a whole bunch of stuff, but mostly it's going to look like KeithReza.com. Okay. My producer said I just need to start plugging my website more. So I thought I'd do that. Book me on Cameo for all your Cameo needs. Okay. I got both things out of the way that the producer wanted me to do. I've been getting a lot of emails about if Victor Pacheco is still on the show. Uh, the answer is no. I love Victor very much, but he lives in up north and he's doing his own thing. So yeah, that's it. And then the other question I got is if Alan Lee had a funeral. To be honest with you, I don't know. I went to a funeral memorial thing dinner for him, but no one ever told me about a funeral. And I do get a lot of messages about that. But yeah, I don't know. But hey, let's turn the downers into the positives, man. We got a great guest. This guy, you guys are gonna love him, man. I'm probably gonna repeat this when I talk to him, but I came I came in to know his comedy through the the grams, the Instagrams, and the reels and stuff. And then I thought it was really funny, so I watched his special. That was the funniest special ever. It's on YouTube. Ryan Goodcase, Maybe They're Dead, and I really like him. He's my new favorite comic, and I'm probably older, so it's not that much where I get jealous of other comics, but I'm very jealous of Ryan Goodcase because I think he's got it all. I think he's got the jokes, he's got the performance, and he's just hysterical. As a comic, I don't like watching a lot of comedy because I get jealous, especially if I feel like, oh my God, they wrote something great and I didn't. So yeah, but this one I was literally laughing the entire time. So check it out. Ryan Goodcase, Maybe They're Dead, which is on YouTube. And Ryan is going to be here via Zoom talking to me, and I'm going to get in his head on Reza Rifts. Oh yeah, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Hey, Ryan Goodcase.
What's up, Keith? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you, man?
Doing all right. You can hear me all right?
I can. Thank you so much, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
It's
Been a while since I booted up Zoom.
Oh yeah. Well, everyone's doing what? Riverside now or something, right?
Oh, I don't know. I just haven't
Oh,
done anything on the computer in a while. This just reminds me of 2020 when we were trying to do stand up on here.
oh yeah. Before we start, are you okay with the fires? Like, is it hitting you or no?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
No, we're okay right now. Keeping an eye on things, but we're not close to anywhere getting hit except Pasadena, but even then, not that close.
Oh yeah, because I
What about
felt.
you?
Oh, I'm in Huntington, so I'm nowhere near.
Okay,
But
yourself.
I saw it on the news. I was like, oh God, what if my best friend Ryan Goodcase is in the fires, and I'm about to interview him? Oh my God.
No, no, I probably wouldn't log on if I was in threat of like if the fire was a few miles away, I'd probably do a rain check. No
uh,
offense.
no worries, no worries. Uh, so I wanted to say how I became a fan of yours. I I make myself little goals as a comic where like I like to watch a special of somebody I don't know. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's good.
Just because, and I came across yours and I loved it. Like
Uh,
I couldn't stop laughing, and and it's on YouTube. Maybe they're dead. That was just so great, and
Thank you.
I
Thank
became
you for
an
watching it.
inst yeah, I became an instant fan of yours. I was like, holy Lord.
That's so nice. Did you find it just as a recommended video?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Nice.
I saw a clip of you on the
Uh-huh.
Instagram, and then I clicked it and then it went to that YouTube, so I watched it.
Oh, great. Okay, that's what I'm hoping for. I hope
Yeah,
all those clips get people that go to the longer special. So I'm glad that worked.
yeah. So I wanted to ask you, like, how, because I have a special, but I only did it in one take. How many times did you do this one?
That was one show. Yeah,
Whoa!
which is very stressful. Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually on the audio version, I have like a deleted scene, quote unquote, or basically I at one point I told the audience like, listen, I'm shooting a special. I flubbed that last line. I need to just go back and say it just so we have it. And it was so hard to get through the joke after saying that. Like the crowd was like laughing along with me because of how absurd the moment was.
yeah.
But I had to do that twice where I basically had to re-say a joke just because something didn't go right and the audience had to pretend, like it was normal.
Oh my God. Well,
Yeah, it was stressful.
oh no, definitely. I think when comics do multiple shows, it's not that stressful, even though they say
Yeah.
it is. I don't think it is. One
Yeah,
show
'cause
is stressful.
when you're doing one show, like I was editing on stage, like I
Yeah.
was like, is that going to be okay? Do I need to go back and redo that? Stuff like that while I'm trying to continue my set. So yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah. The worst thing about like doing four shows on a special is you forget what you wear or whatever. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
right, yeah. Or you don't sweat in the same places.
Oh my God, yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
funny? Holy,
Yeah.
like those those comics who just do voices like Pablo Francisco or whatever. He's probably
Uh-huh.
like sweating the whole time, and then like in the next one, you're like, he's not sweating there.
Yeah. Yeah. I that was another thing with my special is we were in a basement in San Francisco and it was just unreasonably hot. Like I
Yeah.
was planning on wearing a flannel that I picked out, I spent like an hour picking my outfit and then it was just way too hot to wear it. So I was like, all right, it's
Uh,
going up like this. And by the end I was sweating pretty good. I normally don't sweat, but it was just baking down there.
how many seats was that place?
I think it was 100 or 120, something like that.
I think that's perfect. I think that is a perfect club because it's intimate. Like I don't like I'm not gonna bash bigger seaters, but I
Mhm.
feel I do better in smaller intimate places. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think those shows are more fun too, because I could see most people, um, you know, not to a point where it's distracting.
Yeah.
And then it was a good mix for me where I had maybe like 10 or 20% of the crowd I knew or knew me, and the rest were just kind of going in blind, which was a good ratio for me.
Yeah. How many openers did you have on that?
Well, they were shooting like smaller sets. So there was, I think,
Oh,
two or three before me, but they were recording too.
oh,
Yeah.
nice. Nice.
Yeah. That
Um,
Tiny Pony, the like group that produced that special is sort of doing a don't tell model, but they're trying to do more longer specials. That's where like mine fit in. But in addition to those, they also have like 20 and 10-minute sets.
oh my God. I'm glad you mentioned that because I kept seeing the marquee behind you that kill pony or whatever. I was like, I thought this
Tiny
was
Pony.
tiny tiny
Kill
pony.
Pony's good. The
And
Kill
I,
Pony podcast.
yeah, and I thought that was the name of your special. So like I was telling all
Uh-huh.
my friends about it, and then I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's maybe they're dead, but it kept saying, Tiny Pony or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
yeah.
I don't know if he's recording anymore, but it was Zach Lord, who's a comic in San Francisco. He first shot his own special, and I just saw the quality of it and the editing and really liked how it turned out. So when he came to me and asked if I wanted to shoot one, I said definitely. And I'm really
Oh,
happy with the like the technical stuff of it, the way it looks and the way it sounds.
oh yeah, it's great. Now, forgive me, I hate these questions, but I don't know much about you.
That's all
And
right.
I've been doing comedy for almost 23 years, and our paths just have never crossed. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm really a huge fan of your comedy. So I just wanted to know, like, how do you start, and how come our paths have never crossed? Because
Sure.
I know everybody.
That's fair. I started in Michigan 2016 or 2017,
Wow.
somewhere around there. Wait, hold on. That's not right. I think 2014. So I was 2 years into college. Um, and I was in college when I started and was doing it very casually, just something to do for fun.
Yeah.
I was performing at like my college, like they had a comedy group. So that was, largely in front of my friends or at least people who knew me,
Yeah.
which was a good way to start because it wasn't just like hostile strangers. It was a good way to start in order for me to like feel what it's like to have a good set and then to keep chasing that. Because then when I started going out and like bar open mics, I was like, oh, this is much more difficult.
Not as
Um,
fun.
yeah. I was still motivated to like, chase those good sets for strangers. And I was never one of those people who was like inviting my friends to shows outside of the college thing. So I wasn't like, I didn't never care too much about showing off to people I knew. I was always wanting to get a crowd of strangers to laugh. But anyways, after 2 years of Michigan, I moved to Bay Area, California, like just south of San Francisco, and that's when I started to take it more seriously.
Yeah.
The environment there was people doing it much more often, many more times a week. And I sort of just modeled myself after that. I was like, oh, this is something I want to do and progress. I need to, get more reps in, and just stayed there for about 6 years, and then moved 2022 to New York for 5 months and then LA after that. So that's where I'm at now.
How is New York? Did you like it?
I did like New York. I love the city. It is more difficult to live there for me.
Yeah.
LA feels a little bit more like what I'm used to. It's a big city, but there's also parts that feel very like suburban. Or even just like having a car is something I'm used to, and I never really got comfortable with the public transportation. Uh, And then the real reason why I moved from LA though is kind of a dumb reason. I knew I wanted to leave the Bay. I thought I wanted to go to New York. So I moved there without a day job, just trying to do comedy. Quickly ran out of money.
Right.
So I started applying for day jobs that were similar to what I used to do, which was research. And I was applying to a bunch of jobs at Mount Sinai hospitals in New York.
Oh,
I
nice.
saw, yeah, saw a job for Cedar Sinai, which I thought was like a different borough in New York. So I applied to that and got an interview. Saw it was in Pacific time, looked it up, saw that the hospital was in LA. And I was like, well, I'm not getting job offers anywhere else. I might as well do this interview. And then, of course, I got that job, and that's what brought me to LA. I was like, all right, it's a lateral move for comedy. Wasn't part of the plan, but, that's what
Uh,
brought me out here.
was those day jobs like supportive of your comedy?
The ones in the Bay definitely were. That was one thing that was hard to give up was, eventually they find out that you do stand up. And the one that I worked at in the Bay would let me take off early to drive down to like, Santa Cruz or drive up to North Bay or Sacramento. Sometimes I was doing
Yeah.
Sacramento Punchline, driving up to host on a Thursday, which is 3 hours away, driving back and then going to work the next morning.
Yeah.
Um, they were very supportive, but then when I left and went to the spot in LA, they were not as supportive. I was doing more clinical work, like actually working with patients, so they have a little less flexibility, I think, with letting me take off time. But they did not, give a shit that I was doing comedy. So I left them in May,
Yeah.
last May. So
That's because
didn't
you're a
work out.
national star now.
I'm trying. Yeah. It was very dramatic, but that Netflix is a joke set. The set I did where I had one of my jokes go viral, the countdown joke,
Oh
that
yeah.
was that was filmed on the last day of my day job. Like I had Netflix sent a car for me. They picked me up from my day job and I sent an email saying that I was quitting like from the Netflix car.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It felt very like a movie moment.
Yeah.
Um and then 2 weeks later I was like, please take me back. And they didn't respond to that. So I had to stick with my decision.
Uh, I mean, I'll tell you off the air, but I still technically do still have a day job, but they've always been supportive of my comedy,
Yeah.
and I always said, hey, the second you guys are no longer supportive, I rather just not do it at all and just do comedy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that I kind of, but maybe because I've been there for 20 years, I don't know. You know what I
That
mean?
definitely, I think once you've proved yourself like as an asset and they like you and they want to keep you around, it's much easier to be accommodating to that. I really never proved myself in LA. Like my heart was never in the day job. I always knew I was going to quit to like pursue comedy. And I
Yeah.
think they could just tell. So it's like, yeah, they weren't going to cut me any breaks.
Yeah, I mean, a little about me is I used to tour with Norm Macdonald for 9 years,
Mhm.
and so there would be days where like Norm would tell me, "Hey, we have a gig in Pittsburgh or whatever," like the day before, and I was like, "Oh, I can't get it off." So then he'd call my managers,
Oh my
like,
God.
and
That's incredible.
he'd be like, "Yeah, so I need to get Keith Reza out of work, you know."
Like, is your parent calling you out sick for school?
But see, the company was just like, oh my God, like we've never had this happen. So like, because usually when you don't show up, you'll get fired, like after
Right.
3 days or whatever. But he just kept doing it. I mean, he must have done it like 30 times. And then
So good.
they were like, okay, this is who Keith Reza is. He's gonna ditch us for comedy every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The person getting the call, did they know who Norm Macdonald was? Like, were they getting a kick out of getting the call?
Oh yeah, for sure. They were huge.
Yeah.
Here's the one thing that I mean, I actually did post about this the other day is I really hate it when people say they support you but they don't. And like they only support you when you're opening up for big names like Norm Macdonald or TJ
Mm,
Miller or whatever. But when I'm
mm,
headlining, where's the support? You know what I mean?
right. Yeah. They think
So
you're doing it like for yourself. They don't
e-
think it's, yeah, like
exactly.
you've reached a level. Yeah.
So whenever like I'd invite them, hey, I'm headlining, they always like tell me to go fuck myself. But then whenever like I'd open up for Norm, they'd be like, "Oh, hey, we're free." And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was so stupid at that time. I thought that that was real support. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is I don't know. Going back to what I said earlier, I never was like too adamant about getting my friends to see me. Although when you're headlining, it's different because then you're like trying to sell tickets and show the venue that it's worth having you headline and you want to have
Right.
a good show. Or if you're recording an album, obviously that's important. But I would sometimes get stressed out when like friends or sometimes coworkers would come to my show unannounced. I was like, this is an audition for me at this comedy club. I'm not trying to,
Right.
talk to you before, during, and after the set.
Oh
Uh,
no, it's the best, especially if you have like jokes about them, like
yeah,
calling them pricks and stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I have the a one joke about a coworker, like a guy who always shoots me finger guns, and then I
Yeah,
like
I love that.
that's about a real guy who's actually my friend, but I've done that in front of him. And whenever he's in the room, I just throw his name in for fun. I'll just be
Right.
like, I have a coworker, Josh, just so he knows.
No, you know what? It's funny that you were saying that story because I was watching your special and then like
Hmm.
there's this hot chick at the place I work with, right? And I'm like in the back doing stuff so I don't deal with customers or whatever. So I'm listening
Uh-huh.
to it. And then you're talking about that and then I see her. I was just like, "Hey, Bree."
You're the guy.
But I only did it just to see how funny it was from your point of view. But
Right.
but yeah, man. But
For me, it
no,
was just born out of frustration. Like I couldn't understand how anyone could be so happy and enthusiastic at this day job I hated. Like I
right.
was miserable, I was tired, I didn't want to be there. And then this guy just looks like he's having the time of his life. He's like he's at a party. And I just yeah, it drove me crazy.
Does he ever do the guns and then do the wink? That would be
Oh, I'm
worse.
sure. I'm sure he does. I don't know that I make eye contact with him, but I'm sure he's winking, doing all
Uh,
sorts of stuff.
The wink would be way worse, I feel.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you like about your writing style too,
Mm.
because you're a phenomenal. You're one of those guys where not only are you a phenomenal writer and a performer, you're both. And a lot of comics, they're either one or the other. There's very
Mm.
few that are perfect. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. It's I definitely had to work on the performance aspect. I think people still consider me like deadpan or monotone, but I
Right.
used to lean way more into that. And I don't know if this is a crutch or just sort of naturally who I was. But then I would keep getting compliments. I was like, "Oh, you're such a great writer. You're such a great writer," which of course you just hear is like, "You're not a good performer." Like,
Right.
if they
Yeah.
said you were a great comic, then they'll be all encompassing. But when I was hearing great writer, I kind of just knew I needed to work on the performance a little bit. So I appreciate you saying that. I like being, complete.
Yeah. And another reason why I like you so much is because your comedy is kind of like mine in a way where like I just relate to it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
cool. Yeah.
so like that, because I have autism, I have Asperger's syndrome, so most of my comedy I talk about being on the spectrum and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it's just kind of like that where like people either get me or they don't. And then right when I
Hmm.
watched you, I was like, I totally get you. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate hearing that. It's funny because the new stuff I'm working on, I don't know how you feel about this. I'd be interested to hear your opinion. I'm talking about feeling like I might be on the spectrum, but never having been diagnosed. Like I say,
Right.
like I'm not gonna pay someone for them to tell me that I'm weird and that I like stuff too much. Like I can kind of figure that out on my own. But do you have an opinion about like people self-diagnosing themselves as possibly on the spectrum?
I think a lot. I think now in the world that we live in, everyone does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, See, I was actually, diagnosed by a doctor when I was 13,
Uh-huh.
March 10th, 1999, and I remember that
Okay.
date because the Lakers traded Eddie Jones. I was like, he was my favorite player. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
And I'm
Yeah.
I'm crying and stuff. And my dad was like, Keith, it's just autism. Like it's not a big deal. And I'm like, no, the Lakers just traded Eddie Jones, and we had tickets to go see him in April. You know what I mean?
Oh
So,
man.
so, I think everybody does self-diagnose, and like the older I get, it is kind of harder for that because a lot of people think I'm self-diagnosed when I'm not.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like autism is one of those things like when you're a kid, when you're between, you know, 0 and 13, everyone wants to help you and support you and stuff, but after that they
Mm.
kind of think you don't have it. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah.
And it's very cruel in a way, I feel.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's interesting. When
does
I
that
when I
answer
was
your question?
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. I didn't hear enough of a negative opinion to tell me to stop doing it. So that's what
Right.
I was really hoping to hear.
Oh,
But no, it
I
makes
could
sense.
diagnose you if you want. It's kind of like gaydar. I could
Yeah.
tell who's on the spectrum, but
Yeah.
uh,
My first research like group in college was trying to do brain imaging of like infants to diagnose autism because I to speak to your point about the 0 to 13, it's such a thing about early diagnosis and like getting treatment at a certain age, but I've never thought of the other side of the coin where it's like, yeah, when you're an adult, there's sort of an attitude of just like, figure your shit out for
right.
whatever it is. Like you're adult, you should be able to take care of yourself, regardless of, what it is.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, Ryan, I still can't take care of myself. You know what I
No, I
mean?
know. I feel that. Yeah.
Like, I'm in my mid 30s and I still live with mommy and daddy. I feel like a
Yeah.
loser. You know what I
I
mean?
get that. I totally get that.
So, um, but no, man, I try not to let it bother me, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like I also find it offensive when people say, oh, you don't have autism when I do. So like if I find that offensive, I'm never going to say someone's not autistic who says they're autistic because
Right.
I think that that's the cruelest thing anyone could ever do is fake something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that something that you encounter? Like people think that you're faking for attention or something? Or.
I'm sure I've encountered a couple comics who have thought
Oh,
that.
comics, yeah.
You know, like I don't like to say names, but Barry Sobel's a piece of shit. And
Heard
but
stories.
oh, dude, he's probably the biggest dick in comedy. And so it's kind of like that where, so yeah, so when people self-diagnose themselves, I just say, okay. Like I could also kind of tell, like if I'm diagnosing you right now, I could tell you have some spectrum-y stuff. You avoid eye contact, which is what I do.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I'm not sure about this, but I get a sense you're sensitive to light.
A sensitive to light?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I've never considered that. I
yeah.
don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
On your special, you were looking down a lot, and I thought maybe it was because of the
Oh,
little light.
that I do a lot. I don't know that it's about the light as much as it might be like an eye contact. I might be related to that where I'm just like used to looking at the ground. But I
Yeah,
remember one of the first times I headlined and did a longer set. It was especially when I was thinking of the next bit or what I was going to say next. I'd be looking down at the ground. And one of the managers after the set was like, it kind of works with your performance and your stage persona. Like it doesn't look like unconfident in the same way it might for another performer for me to be looking down like that.
yeah.
So,
All right.
yeah,
And
I've used it.
yeah, but no, like Mitch Hedberg used it too. So you know what I
Uh
mean?
huh.
Like it's not a crutch at all. It's just part
Right.
of you and doing comedy. I also feel there's no real crutches in comedy.
Yeah. I think I'd agree with that. I guess I'm a little sensitive to like when I think of something as being a hack, I think it as being like a formula that works. Like I think
Right.
it's the important aspect of it, like it works. So if you're like relying on setups that you hear a lot or like joke conventions that you hear a lot, I guess that's kind of like a crutch. And I could see that like working for people, but I don't know. Maybe that's not a good example for that.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree. I think if anyone who does comedy, they're doing comedy, but and people are influenced by so many people
Mm,
that I feel in comedy there is no crutches. I feel if you're fun, the point of the goal is to make audiences laugh.
yeah.
That's what it is. And if you have to go dig into something deeper like that, that's what you have to do. Now, stealing is totally different. Like
Right.
that is 100% wrong. But what I'm saying is
Hmm.
like tones and, I think that's all fair because you're all trying to accomplish the same thing.
I think I have a bit of pretense where I like personally try to be a little different or weird in the sense like I don't want to do stuff that's similar to what I'm seeing.
Right.
And that's probably goes back to like me being a dumb teenager who doesn't want to watch Harry Potter or like the Beatles because everyone else does.
Exactly.
Um, so I might be that might be my own thing, but I agree with you at the end of the day. It's about like making the crowd laugh and being entertaining for however amount of time you're up there for. I think I just like I personally have thrown out jokes that I just feel like are too like I've heard before, even if it's not the exact words, it's just like you know, the general feeling or sense of the joke.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you feel you really feel that way, or do you feel that you've written stuff like that and you feel maybe you want to go in a different direction writing? So that's why you feel that way.
Um,
Does that make sense? Is that
I think it does. Um, and like again, I might be sort of jerking myself off by saying this, but I feel like if a joke feels hacky to me and it works really well, I want to say that I'll have the like I don't know what the word is. I want to say I'll throw that joke out.
right?
I want to say like being original is something that's important to me. Like
Yeah.
I being clever and doing like some of the jokes that I do are directly like in response to what I see a lot, like that joke I do where I ask someone, you know, I'll give you three choices and you pick the topic of my next joke.
Oh yeah, a
But
dog,
what
Walmart, or having sex.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like one of the first stand-ups I went to in college, like he did something like that, but like sincerely, where he gave the three choices and then he'd wait for the crowd to yell it out, and then he would do the joke. And it was supposed to like be impressive. It's like, wow, you have jokes about all three of those topics, or like you're letting us choose. And I just kept seeing that. So then my joke was like, trying to subvert what you'd expect to come from that, or and to me it's sort of
Element of surprise.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, because I just think I just thought that was such a corny thing to do, like lit and I see it sometimes too, where people at the end of their set, they're like, oh, do you want a dirty joke or a clean joke? And it's like, dude, you're in control, man. Like I'm not here trying to I don't know. I think that's goofy, but again, that's personal taste.
Oh, yeah. One of the things I loved about you is because on the same topic, most comics, when you do a show, the first thing every comic will say, "Oh, what's up?" or "How you guys doing?"
Hmm.
And I just loved how you said, "All right, here comes the jokes." You know what I mean?
Like,
Because like you're not there to be friends with the audience. You're there to make them laugh. So I never say how you guys doing or something like that. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
I just go straight into it because at the end of the day, I don't really fucking care.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like there was a push for stand up to be more conversational and more like that. Like you're just talking to a friend. Hey, what's up? What's going on? And, like I'm not good at conversation. That's not why I got into stand up. Like my conversational skills are not what's going to get me through the set. It's my
Right.
like very constructed written jokes. So that's another thing that I think I've tried to lean away from is the overly conversational tone. Although now I feel myself experimenting more with that, simply because when I try to do crowd work, this was more of a problem like a few years ago. I would do crowd work and I would be slightly different in my speed and my tone, the way I presented myself, and people would like it because it's me just talking. But then when I try to go back into material, it was difficult because people could then see the difference.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try to blend, like if I'm gonna do crowd work, I need to find a medium between, how I talk normally and how I talk when I'm doing material. I need those to blend better.
Crowd work is one of those things, and I'll be honest with you, man. As a comic, I'm not. That's probably one of my weakest strengths. I'm not very good at crowd work.
Same.
And I would love to get better, but like for example, everyone shit talks Matt Riff or Rife or whatever his name
Right.
is,
Yeah.
and I think he's a phenomenal comic because I saw him, before all that. He used to open up for
Hmm.
Dane Cook and Joe Coy, like he worked his ass off, and
Yeah.
I started when I was that age too. I mean, yeah, maybe it helps he's good looking or whatever, but he's actually a damn good comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So crowd work, I also feel crowd work is the club's fault too, because they always say there's no recording, blah blah blah, shout, you know what I mean? All these
Hmm.
rules. I've
Yeah.
never seen anyone kick someone out for heckling
Oh yeah.
so I kind of feel like the club kind of fucked the comics a little like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a club throw. I've seen clubs talk to hecklers, and you know what? I have seen it where they'll throw them out, and I think, and I've also seen it where the someone will go to talk to a guy in the audience, and then the comedian will be like, "No, he's fine. Like, don't,
Yeah.
we're all cool here. We were just having fun," which I think is interesting because then it's hard for the club to figure out when is a person a problem and when is the performer like entertaining this person.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's what
I don't
people
know.
want now, man. They want that crowd work stuff.
I guess so. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I don't have too strong opinion about that. Whether I don't know what people expect when they go to a show anymore. I really don't.
Right. Yeah. How are you feeling about roast battle? Is that something you like, or is that something you kind of stay away from?
No, I've tried to tell myself I wouldn't do it like 6 times. Like every time I do one, I'm like, all right, that's the last one. I'm not going to do it. And then
Oh,
someone will ask me, and I'll want to do stage time and
yeah.
do it. But I think it just like I don't know. Uh, I like judging them, but actually doing the roasting, I don't find too fun. It just makes me like write in a voice or a tone that I don't normally write in.
Does it make you feel like a dick sometimes when you do it?
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
does. Which I think I am a dick, but I don't like to be so,
I
forward
don't think
about
you
it.
are. I think you're a sweetheart.
Well, I do it behind people's back,
Oh,
so I'll
okay.
talk shit about you once this is over.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I, if you do, I just want you to know I got nothing but good things to say about you.
appreciate that.
Um, yeah, I've done a couple roast battles, but that's not my thing. And
Yeah.
I always said if I want to do it, I want to roast battle like the celebrities I fucking hate because if I'm gonna
Mm.
lose, at least I want to fucking, like Brian Scalaro or Barry Sobel, all BSers. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I just want to go after these guys because they're bullies. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
if I'm gonna do a bully thing, I want to do it against a bully. Does that make
That would be
sense?
it would be funny to watch a roast with real animosity between the two people. Because a lot
Exactly.
of times it's friends and it's like, oh, they're just, ribbing each other. But to see you go after someone and have real hatred burning in your eyes would be pretty fun to watch.
Like Dat Fam and Bobby Lee. I think that would be the best roast battle ever.
I would love to see that. Yeah.
I would pay top dollar to see that. Uh so I noticed you have some tattoos, Ryan. How many tattoos do you got?
um, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I
Whoa.
think I'm at 9 now.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
How
I
old were you?
definitely it's gotten past the points where I like can't just give you a number right away. I'd have to actually think about it, but it's
Right.
somewhere around double digits.
How old were you when you got your first one?
22.
Oh,
And it was my
nice.
22nd birthday. I remember being like, all right, 21st birthday was so fun, big milestone. What can I do to make 22nd special? Got my
Yeah.
first tattoo. And then that was like the last special birthday. I stopped, trying to make anything memorable after that.
So I'm not sponsored by anyone, but
Uh-huh.
I bought this cream on Shark Tank because because it looked cool and they're like, "Oh, hey, you should get a cream to make your tattoos all shiny and stuff." And
Uh-huh.
I have no idea if it works because I have two tattoos and I've been using it, but I can't tell if they're like shiny or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's called Mad Rabbit Tattoo.
Okay.
And I just
How long you
thought
been
that
using it?
I only have had it for like a week.
Okay. Have you
So,
considered doing an A/B test and only doing one of your tattoos and seeing if there's a difference?
oh no, I didn't.
Yeah. See, that's the
Fuck!
scientist coming out. I think you might have to
Ah,
try that.
Ryan, how come we couldn't talk last year?
You can still do it. You can still do it.
But yeah, man. Yeah.
What are your
So
tattoos?
I have a soda bottle right here that says pop. It was for
And that's
my
like the old classic, what is that, American classic, whatever they call it?
because
Nice.
my grandfather, his name was Pop, and that's exactly why I got the soda bottle because it's like two at once. And then like I can't really show you because it's in a weird spot, but it's like right here. I don't know if you can see it,
Uh-huh. A little
but
bit.
it's a microphone and it says "old chunk of coal," and that was for Norm because
Yeah.
we called him an old chunk of coal. So
I'm still so disappointed. I love Norm. One of the I was thinking about this recently. I think one of the like sort of sweet things about when Norm did pass is like all of my comic friends at different points would go through like a Norm binge where just like, it'd be late at night and they would just like go through a bunch of YouTube videos or like watch all his specials. We'd all be doing that like whenever the moment struck. But then when he passed, everyone was doing that at the same time, like
yeah,
sharing their favorite videos and going over that. But I was
Yeah.
thinking about I was bought tickets to see him like March 27th, 2020, and it was one of the first shows that got canceled
At the
before the
San
pandemic.
Jose Improv, right?
Yes, yeah.
We canceled that.
Yeah, I was so bummed.
Were you doing comedy? You were doing
Yeah.
comedy then.
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you this, I'm not just like blowing smoke up your ass, but Norm would have loved you.
Oh man, I really
He
appreciate that. Yeah.
he would have thought you were, you know, one of the best of the best. And I
Oh.
guarantee you, if he would have saw you, you would have taken my job. So I'm kind of glad that never happened, but just know he would have loved you. He would have thought you were
Thank you.
original and funny.
I,
Uh,
I do I appreciate that, and I do think of that one episode of the podcast though where he has his son on and he reads that one joke that's like meta and he just goes meta. I hate meta. And I got a few of those that I think he would feel that way about, but I do appreciate the compliment.
yeah, he would have loved your God joke
Uh-huh.
and the masturbating on the floor. He would have just loved it, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But no, when Norm died, it was the worst day of my life, because I lost my best friend. And
Yeah.
then it was to what you say, everyone was sharing his clips and stuff.
Hmm.
And this wasn't just like a 1 day thing. This was like a month thing that people
Yeah.
were doing it. And
Yeah.
now Norm is more famous because of TikTok, which really does suck. And then when OJ Simpson died, all the emotions I got that day, they just came back. So it was
Oh
like,
wow.
you know what I mean? Because OJ, like Norm fucking hated OJ and
Right,
like
right.
so yeah, I the internet
It's
just
so
kind of
funny that
sucks.
someone else dying makes you like miss Norm. It's just funny how like linked that they are from his jokes that you don't give a shit about OJ, but him dying makes you think of your friend.
Yeah. Man, I wish I would have known you and to dude, that would have been like the best show, you, me, and Norm.
Yeah, I could
Oh my
now. Yeah,
God.
now I'm getting sad about it.
Ah, I fuck. I wish we would have crossed paths, man, because
Yeah.
I would have totally got you on those shows, man. I probably
Thank
would
you.
have got bumped to fucking host, but that sucks.
No, I probably wasn't as good back then, 2020. Although that special you watched, like that is, that's my best stuff over the first 8 or 9 years of my comedy. Like, and there
Yeah.
are some jokes like that. The joke where I get used as a stripper pole in the nightclub, like that's from my first set,
That's
you know.
happened to me too, and that's why I thought it
Yeah.
was hilarious
Oh,
because
really? Really?
like yeah, man. You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
Like chicks are stupid.
I think my brain, like, I think probably what actually happened is the woman lost her balance and then used me to like support herself so she didn't fall and then just
Right.
didn't apologize or make any reference to it. But in my like very self-conscious mind, that's how I interpret it in the moment. And that's, obviously a better story.
Uh, well, I want to respect your time, but I have four more questions for you.
Please.
Are we
Yeah.
cool? Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, now that you're headlining and you're on your own on your own tour and all that stuff,
Mhm.
uh, do do you get like anxiety or stress about ticket sales, or do you just let God handle it? Like, how do you?
I definitely stress about it.
Okay.
Uh, that's like the biggest new stress from headlining. Because I just, I want things to work financially. And now that I have like representation, like there's other people who have a stake in how many tickets I sell. And I like feel motivated to do well so that, you know, they do well, which maybe sounds stupid, but I feel like now I'm not just letting down myself, but I'm letting down other people if I don't sell tickets.
Right.
But that's all before the show. When I'm actually performing, like I don't care about that. I've had really fun shows in front of 10 people. Um, I did Fort Worth. I did 4 shows. One of them was almost sold out, and then the other three, there were like between 10 and 15 people. Um,
Hyenas?
No, it was a new club, Big Laughs. It's like
Oh
a
my
new
God.
club that's trying to start out, and I think that might be part of the reason why there weren't many people that weekend. But all the shows were fun, you know. Like there's a book. What is it called? This band could be your life, and it's about like these post-punk and alternative bands.
This
Uh,
band could be your life.
yeah, great. Each chapter is like a different band, but there's a story about Black Flag when they're first starting out and they go to play a show in Kansas, and there's two people in the audience, and everyone's like bummed out, like they can't believe they drove all the way to perform for two people. And then Henry Rollins is just like, yeah, but those two people came to see a Black Flag show, so let's give them a fucking Black Flag show. And then
Yeah.
played with the same intensity that he would full crowd. And I do try to use that sort of, I don't know what to call that. I want that to be the attitude I have on those small shows, as opposed to like being depressed about it and sulking, and then the 10 people that are there not having a good time.
Yeah.
uh, so it's a long answer, but yeah, I do stress about it. From I want to make sure I'm making enough money to pay rent, but the actual shows themselves, like,
They're
i'm
always
happy that
great. Yeah.
I'm happy that anyone is showing up to see me. Like, that's still new and novel to me. I'm
Right.
used to performing at comedy shows or like being an opener. So anyone coming specifically to see me, even if it's just a handful of people, is still really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I got my first last year I got my first out of state headlining gig and I was so excited. And then they canceled it because we had sold zero tickets and I already got the flight and everything. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
it really
I've been
fucking
there.
it hurt
It's
me, dude.
Yeah, I feel that, man. That
I
sucks.
I was like, fuck. You know what I mean?
But
And
it's a whole other, skill set now that you have to tackle. Like, you've worked hard at being a comic and, crafting a headlining set, and now you've got to do this whole other skill set of selling tickets, which is marketing,
yeah, I
social
think if I
media.
could go back in time, I think I would probably spend more time in school to learn marketing because
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, to be honest with you.
same.
You
Most
know?
comics don't, it seems like. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing either.
So, and then I wanted to ask you, what is one of your biggest fears when you first started comedy, and do you still have that fear?
Uh, Biggest fears when I first started. I always was comfortable public speaking. It wasn't that. Um, uh, you know, I'm trying to remember how much I feared like having a digital footprint, or like saying something that would prevent me from getting work if I, was trying to pursue
Oh, like
research
canceled or
still.
whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, or more just like, if I'm doing a job interview and they're like, "What's this?" And they pull up in like a YouTube of me doing comedy, and I have to explain that to like some corporate person. Um, that might have been that might have been one of my bigger fears when I first started. I'm not sure. It's hard to remember back then. I guess maybe being bad.
Yeah.
maybe finding that it was just something that I couldn't do and that I wasn't funny or relatable. I would say that would be one of my bigger fears. And yeah, that still pops up here and there, but definitely not as much.
Oh, so I got a perfect scenario for you for that
Okay.
fear. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is never going to happen because you're now a comedy star. But if you ever wanted to go
Touche.
back to having a day job and they do this, they'd be like, Ryan Good, like we'll role play. I'll be the guy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or no,
Yeah.
you be the guy. You be the guy. I'll be Ryan Goodcase. All right. Show me a
Okay, so
video.
I'm interviewing. Oh yeah, great, great meeting you. Great interview. Before you go, I just wanted to ask you, what's up with this? Can you tell me about this video of you talking about masturbating in the Bible?
Oh yeah. I'm also a celebrity.
Yeah, that's what they're like. All right, this is a Staples. I don't know. You might be overqualified.
Yeah. They'll be
I'll
like,
use
all
that.
right.
I'll use that.
Oh man. And then I wanted to ask you, what's the best advice you've ever gotten from another comic that you could share?
I don't. Shit.
These tough questions. I'm sorry, Ryan.
No, it's okay. I don't remember who said it, and I'm gonna horribly butcher the quote. But you know, I don't even want to attempt it because I'm gonna butcher it so bad. I just remember like a comic saying like another comic approached this bigger, more established comic and was looking for like advice about whether they should keep going or like whether they should be more serious about comedy. And then the more established comic was like, no, quit. You should quit. And just
Yeah.
like was very blunt. And then when another guy approached him, was like, why would you say that to him? And he's like, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. Like if you love it, you're not gonna let anyone talk you out of it. Like even if it's an established comic telling you to quit, you're not gonna let that affect you if you're gonna do it. I feel like you need that sort of level of uh it's not really obsession or passion, but I just like I feel so motivated or like connected, like this is just what I'm gonna do. Like yeah, I can't imagine this not being part of my life, like
Yeah.
regardless of how it goes, and I feel like that's not really advice. It's just like you either have that or you don't. Like
No,
you
for
can't
sure.
really, if you're looking for external validation, like if you're just doing it until you go big online or you're just doing it until you get this thing, like you're not going to keep going.
Right. No, that's true too. And yeah, man. That's actually true. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's not really advice. It's just kind of like bleak.
Eh, yeah. You know, uh I don't know if I should tell you this, but like I did a bar show a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
And bar shows for me are I mean, now I find it fun because when I started, I was very nonverbal. Like stand-up comedy really saved my life. So I grew up in bar shows. So I
Mhm.
I could handle any type of show now. But keep in mind I'm also 23 years in, and I haven't been good. I only got good when I was 16 years in. You know what I mean? So like it's kind of like that. So I did this bar show, nothing was working. And I have this joke where I say, "Hey, I bet you guys didn't expect to see a kid from Two and a Half Men here." You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I do that joke and nothing else is working. So then I go back and I'm like, "Oh, this reminds me of filming Two and a Half Men with You know what I mean?" And
Mhm.
I'm like overplaying it where now I'm convincing myself I'm the kid from Two and a Half Men.
That
So
becomes the bit for you.
yeah, and it was like 20 minutes of this, you know what I mean? Because these guys didn't want to see comedy, they wanted to see a former star, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
So after the show, everyone's asking me for pictures and autographs, and I'm like, "Oh, I can't do that because that's impersonation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't do that." I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to stay low from Hollywood." And this guy was like, "Can I buy you a beer?" I was like, "Why? Yeah, sure. There's no harm in beer, right?" So we're drinking the beer, right? And then he comes up, he's like, "Let me ask you something. Why is your comedy name Keith Reza and not Angus T. Jones?" And I said, "Oh, Angus T. Jones is my acting name. Keith
Uh-huh.
Reza is my comedy name." And he's like, "Oh, that makes sense." I was like, "Yeah." So it made no like real sense, right? I'm thinking everyone in this bar is a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just because I look like him, but I'm not like his twin. You know what I mean?
Right. I love that you kept it going. I hope that Angus T. Jones does do stand-up comedy, and then that guy sees him later and was like, "Oh, I'm proud of you, man, using your real name." I
You
gotta say
really,
though, I like your stuff at the bar better.
you really grew out of the autism jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, you get that autism curve you didn't even talk about this time.
And my last question for you, Ryan, is
Yeah.
if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, knowing everything you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Ugh. Uh, maybe save more money. Save more money now while you have a day job so that when you're trying to do this for real, which you will, You
Yeah.
did like, because I pussyfooted around for a while. Like you're gonna commit to comedy at some point, and if you had a little more savings, you'd be a little less stressed out, and take a little less shitty gigs.
Yeah.
That's lame to go for a money thing, but that's probably what I would do.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that and you didn't say, hey, if Keith Reza asks us to do his podcast, say no.
Or yeah, no, actually, I go back in time and say, hey, reach out to Keith Reza before the San Jose Improv show with Norm,
You,
so that you can try to host.
that would have been a that would have been a great answer.
Yeah,
I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. He would have loved you.
that no,
So
that I really appreciate you saying that because I know you worked like with you sub for 9 years, and you also worked on the podcast, right?
I did. Yeah. How do you know
Yeah.
that?
I don't some research I did when I was
Oh.
deciding whether or not to do this podcast.
Oh, well, thank you. I did.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I writing for a podcast like that is that I did not have fun doing that.
Really?
Yeah. That was like the hardest, most stressful job I've ever had. And
The pace of it, or what part was stressful?
it's just like you'll I'm sure you're gonna get on a show to be a writer someday, so you'll experience this. When you're writing, you're these other writers, they're not your friends.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I mean? And they're not even your coworkers. What they are is they're people who are using you to try and get certain jokes because the more jokes you get on the show, the more money you get. And the more
I
money
see.
you get, the more, you know.
Yeah.
So the strong thing I had was I was the best writer in writing in Norm's voice. You know what
Mm.
I mean? Because I toured
Hmm.
with him and I could like, I know what Norm liked.
Yeah.
But I was the worst writer at writing jokes for the guests or stuff like that. So like
Hmm.
it really put me in a bubble where like these writers are saying these jokes aren't funny. I'm like, trust me, once Norm reads it, they are funny.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it at all.
Are
But
they are you talking about just the jokes that were on like the note cards?
yeah,
Okay. And when you write those, do you have at the top like, oh, the guest should read this or Norm should read this, or is he making that decision? Okay.
it's all random. So like
Yeah.
the head writer when I was there it was Sean O'Connor. Sean probably like threw who should read who or whatever, but
Uh-huh.
we weren't given who was going to read to get like we just said,
I
hey,
see.
we had to
Gotcha.
come up with 50 jokes each. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
oh my gosh, yeah.
So I it sucks because I really do want to, with stand up, I do want to write on a sitcom and stuff, but that and it even sucks because it was my best friend's show. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And like
Yeah.
that was, you know, how friends are. It's not all fucking flowers. There's also roses
Yeah.
and thorns. So like there
Yeah.
was arguments there too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, writing for a show is very. It's just if you go into it knowing, hey, this is just a job and you shouldn't take anything personal, maybe that's what I would have told myself. Just been like, hey,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Can you think, sorry, I'm like harping on this. I just love the podcast so much.
Oh no.
Can you think of either a time where one of your jokes you didn't feel strongly about killed on the show, or one of the jokes that you really thought was going to be great just completely bombed? And what it's like watching it being read or performed?
So I have a joke there that it's kind of both.
Uh-huh.
There's one joke where they say, and this number is just completely made up, but there's 73 serial killers out there in the U.S. that have been arrested. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But they didn't catch me, so there's actually 74. And
Uh-huh.
I remember Norm actually read that joke, and I think it was David Keckner, and David Keckner did not get it at all. And and Norm was just like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just moved
So,
out. That's funny.
but I remember that, and then like Tim Allen, we did like the whole point of the Tim Allen one was to get him to like, because Tim Allen's big thing was like he used to be like a drug dealer or something. You know what
Yeah,
I
I've used his mugshot as promo for my Michigan shows.
mean? So like the whole thing is like we were just trying to get him to like go back to the drug dealingness. You know what I mean? So like
Uh,
we were like Norm was like, so how do you like sell drugs? And you'd be like, hey, little kid, I got some candy. And then they'd be like, you're the candy man, you know? So, and then, so Tim didn't really get it, but everyone else got it.
yeah.
And like, that was just one of the things like me and Norm kind of pitched together. And,
Uh-huh.
you
I love
know,
that.
but yeah, man. But Ryan, dude, where can the folks at home follow and support you? Because this isn't about me, this is about you.
I'll preach both. Thank you so much for having me.
Uh,
I'm Ryan Goodcase everywhere. So like ryangoodcase.com is my website, and then Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, it's all just Ryan Goodcase. I think I'm the only Ryan Goodcase in the world, so I've got that covered everywhere on the internet. Just search Ryan Goodcase and you'll find me.
All right. Ryan, thanks for being my best friend today, man.
Of course.
I really am a huge fan of yours. And, I would love to actually meet you and,
Yeah,
just hang out, man.
definitely. Let's do it.
All right, buddy. All right, Ryan. Well, have a great day and stay safe, man.
All right. Thanks, Keith.
All right, guys. That was the episode with Ryan Goodcase. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Rifts.